Oh, ho, ho, ho. I knew I didn't hear that echo. We're going to do this again. We're going to do this again. I don't care. I didn't even see you saying it. I didn't even see you saying it. I didn't. I was like, feels off. Feels off. I don't care. I'll do it again. I don't care. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the following program. I am your host, Joe Neiman, aka Good Lawgic. Hope you had a phenomenal weekend despite my setbacks in football, which I kind of came to grips with on Thursday night. I kind of came to grips with before this week because with Josh Allen out, I was like, and Lamar Jackson, I was like, this is gonna be a rough week. Week 7 was gonna be rough. But all in all, phenomenal weekend. It was phenomenal as one of my nieces got engaged, and that was awesome. Awesome. So yeah, there's that. So I'm very happy for her. She's actually one of the folks that I kind of like. So really happy for her. And what else do I have for you? Yeah. The No Kings rallies. Oh my God. I have so many thoughts about that. Actually, not so many, but a couple that you'll probably, maybe, hopefully find somewhat poignant, which I'll certainly drop on you as we're covering that story. Furthermore, there is a potential ballot scandal in my own backyard. We're going to break that down. No, not literally. Not. I put up in my poll for this show. I sometimes will put a poll when we'll put a poll when I'm announcing the show in the YouTube community. So my YouTube community poll was when it says that there's sus ballot issues in my own backyard. Does that mean literally in my backyard behind the garage where I bury my secret Jew money? Or it means I'll answer that question for those of you. If you haven't voted yet, then you should probably silence yourself because you still need to vote. But I actually mean in my own district, and it is in a place and building I've been to. So I'm going to break that down for you, give you my thoughts on that. We have a goal tonight. I also have a couple of other smaller stories that I want to cover with you, which I'll probably open up with. That's where we're probably going to start this thing out. And we have a goal tonight. Tonight's goal is if we hit our normal goal, which I know it's a late night. And when it's late at night, I kind of expect to not hit the goal because I know that the live audience is going to be smaller. That's just part of the nature of how this industry works. And when I start, after midnight in particular, they started after 10:30. The live audience can be smaller, so I don't expect to hit the goal, but we'll see. We'll see if we hit the goal. Great. Tonight's goal is that I'm going to give you my assessment of this video that I found, which was using math and logic to prove that evolution is hot garbage. So it's actually an interesting little exercise. So I'll try to give you my thoughts on that, and we'll see. We'll see what would happen. We'll see where that's going to go. Let me get a couple of these out of the way. To quote Trump, "I didn't know I was king. If I were king, I'd be a really bad king because I can't get half of what I wanted to do done." Yeah. The first thought I want to give you is this: they're literally making him a king. They're making him a king. It's like, I've talked a lot about the way that the law operates. I frequently have mentioned on here that the way the law operates is a statute is written, and then there's sort of people, assuming most people who it relates to have seen it, which they usually have. So then it's basically how they interpret it is how the statute works. That's pretty much how it operates. And then when there's a conflict between two people, could be the government versus a defendant. It could be between two individual citizens. It could be between a government agency and a citizen. When there's a conflict, so then you go to court, and now a court's going to start to assess what does this statute mean? How does it apply? And that's where we actually start getting that statute defined by our courts. But there's an initial definition which happens based on our standard practice. And in fact, if it never goes to court, then it's just assumed what the law is, even if that's not what any court has ever said. This issue came up a lot when we were talking about the pardon power before Trump v. USA came out in 2024. And there was a whole question as to whether or not there's presidential immunity or the pardon power. We saw this issue with respect to presidential immunity. We saw it with respect to we see it with respect to the pardon power, that there's no one who's ever really questioned the validity of the pardon power. With the presidential immunity, there's an assumption of presidential immunity, but then that assumption seems to change depending on who the president is and what side of the aisle you're on. So, and as far as like how the law operates, until it's challenged, there's just accepted practice. So too it is with the way we view people. If you view people as being important, then they're important. And if you view them as being insignificant, and everyone, that's what the practice is, that people view this person as being insignificant. Well, I don't really like this example that I'm giving, because I think all people have massive significance, irrespective of whether or not they're actually recognized. But society will tend to just dismiss that person or consider them to be less significant. That's just reality. So, with respect to an infraction, right? So you have, an infraction of punching someone in the face, we properly recognize as being worse than jaywalking, irrespective of how it's defined. That's how society sort of recognizes and defines its lines of morality, which actually comes from biblical and religious sources. But I don't want to start walking down that road. But the point that I'm getting at is our concepts for how things operate in the world is basically operating on accepted practice and on how people recognize things and how people view things. The biggest evidence that Trump is a king is that you have 7 million or a few 100,000, depending on who you ask, people marching around screaming, "No kings, no kings." They're not talking about you. They're not talking about me. What they're saying is Donald Trump is not a king. I don't have to tell you. There's no one going around marching around saying no marshmallow women. No one's going around saying that, because no one thinks that there are marshmallow women. But if you thought there were, you'd be like, hey, we don't like them marshmallow women. So in that case, you might have some protests. It's only if people think that he's a king that they have to come protesting saying, we don't want no kings. So the ones who are actually turning him into a king are these idiots showing up, likely protesters, paid protesters, at these rallies. They're the ones who are elevating him into something, which is what makes him the perfect troll candidates. Like they're the perfect people to be trolled. Which is why when Trump puts out that video there featuring Hall the Mountain King, which if you're watching on Rumble, that's one of my favorite songs, right? That's what I have my intro on Rumble every night. I got Hall the Mountain King. Lady Logic saw that. She's like, oh, you're going to like this. You're going to like this. Yeah, I've always liked Hall the Mountain King. It's a fun song. What's not to like? George Santos out of jail. He's free. Oh, my God. Is that? Now I need to check this. I did not even see this. I didn't know anything about this. Oh, my God. How did he get out of jail? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. It's George Santos. See, he follows me. I follow him. I like George. Yesterday, I was getting something I never thought I'd have again: a true second chance at life, a chance to grow, a chance to change, and to walk me a better path. Walk a better path. First and foremost, I want to thank Jesus for never abandoning me. I'm far from perfect. I made mistakes. I've stumbled, but never lost faith in him. He grace ways carried me. I also want to express my deepest gratitude to President Donald Trump. Did he pardon? To my friends who stood by me through it all and fought with me, I couldn't thank you. When I couldn't thank you, your support for your prayers and your advocacy for me mean more than I can ever express. I won't name names because I'd hate to leave anyone out. Please know that your kindness will stay with me for the rest of my life. I can now truly say that you can make friends who are real in DC. I also want to make one thing clear. I hold no anger toward anyone, not even my critics. I move forward with humility, with gratitude, and with peace in my heart. Life is too short to waste our bitterness or vengeance. There will be no revenge, no retribution. We are all Americans. And at the end of the day, we want the same thing: a better, fairer country for everyone. Inspire President Trump's work toward peace in the Middle East. Dedicate myself to doing good, to building bridges instead of walls. My focus will be on prison reform and accountability, ensuring those in power uphold the dignity and humanity of every person in their care. No one should ever be dehumanized or degraded like I was by FCI Farrington Warden Kelly and Assistant Warden Nobel. As I step into this next chapter, I do so lessons learned and eyes open. I do not carry shame, I carry purpose. My goal now is to turn my past into something meaningful, to help create a justice system that truly believes in rehabilitation and second chances. Yes, I am back, but I'm back as a new man, ready to work and do good. All right, let's ask Grok. Was he pardoned? No, it was commutation. Same thing. Fair enough. It is technically a commutation. It's an interesting political move. I did not think that Trump should do that. Certainly not before the next election. But on a personal note, I'm happy for George. I'm happy for him. I have to write something appropriate. Give me a minute. I need to. This needs to be something I think through. Maybe I'll save it. I'll save it for on that when I can actually think through something appropriate. Thank you for sharing that with me, Karen. Trump should really dress as king on Halloween. He's dressed as king every day. I hope that ballroom he's building that's making them all freak out has a massive throne. That's what I would love to see. A massive, massive throne. Like just like a little side note, didn't even realize yet that the $250 million, like $3 million of it is for his throne. That'd be awesome. You a dimwit. Remember, for 2 months, congratulations to the niece. Genuine love for you and yours. Jewish jokes were always because you laughed. I laugh if they're funny. If they're funny. And there's a lot of funny jokes. There's a lot of them. Sometimes they're funny. Sometimes they're kind of stale, much like lawyer jokes. Although I think that there's a higher percentage of funny Jew jokes than there are funny lawyer jokes. It's very rare to hear a good lawyer joke. Very, very rare. They usually have a very predictable punchline. So I wouldn't mind if they were funny. Rocky, welcome to the following. Rocky, good job. Good job, you. Good job, you. Please be aware that the following is not at all a cult type of cult. But we're very pleased that you're able to join. Please be aware that Very, very pleased. No, like really, like seriously, we were really hard up for cash. Following was really we were falling on some tough times. Some tough times. I'm glad. So thank you. This is now we can pay next month's rent. Welcome, brother, and thank you. Hands One Pack says, "Did you see the left read about Trump adding ballroom to the White House as construction started?" Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Sure saw that. I sure saw that. T-Rex saying, kind of off topic, but I keep noticing more and more gold everywhere in the Oval Office. Each time we see Trump in there, I have a feeling it'll be entirely gold by the end of his presidency. That's not off topic. We're talking about him being a king. We're talking about him being a king. That's not off topic. That is right smack in the middle of the topic. That's topic central. Santos tosses in hat for first openly gay New York City mayor. Bloomberg was in the closet. Nice. Nice. I assume he really was gay. I mean, Bloomberg, that dude had to be gay. But wait, is that serious? Is that serious? Did he throw his hat in? I don't even know what to believe. This is funny. I'm seeing here Jojo from Jers. You're an effing crook, and even bigger crook let you get away with it. The only lesson you learn is that you can do whatever you want. You won't have to suffer the consequences. No one should trust you with anything ever. Joe, I truly wish you well. Hate is a poison to the body and soul. And hope you will one day learn that and be more forgiving and tolerable towards those who made poor choices and made mistakes in lives. God bless you. MTG coming in there. This is really nice. This is more great news. So what if Smith and Jigba is ruining my fantasy is ruining fantasy football for me even as we speak? So what? So what? George Santos is free. Dallas has a higher crime rate than LA. Why not just send the Marines there? Seems political, performative, and not too limited government. I think that they probably would be happy to have him there. I think they probably would be happy. They should. I don't have a problem sending them there. The difference is that Governor Abbott would probably say, sure, bring them on in. You want to send them here? Bring them on in. Great. Great. That's the difference. That's the massive difference. Send them there. You're one of the things that I think confuses folks on the left. And by the way, Starch, I want to tell you, I respect the fact that you have sufficient fortitude to listen to people who have different political views from you, because this is not the first thing that you've weighed in on, and you always do it, so far at least, like, with sincere questions or comments, and that seem thought out. But if you think that MAGA only wants them to go into, only cares about illegal aliens in LA, you're mistaken. You're gravely mistaken. No, we care about illegal aliens in LA. We care about them in New York. We care about them in Oklahoma. We care about them in Texas. We care about them in the reddest of red states. We care about them in Kentucky or Iowa. We care about them all. We care about them in the country. And it's not because of a heartlessness. It's because there's so many problems that have arisen as a result of this. And the only motivation was pure political greed. I mean, that's the only reason that this happened at all. It was purely political greed. And the damage to America, it wasn't out of good-heartedness. I'll ask you, Starch, do you think that when Biden opened the borders, it was because he cared about whatever random people live across the world? And he cared about them? And doesn't care about the impact that has on our economy? Doesn't care about the fact that our hospitals were being overrun? Didn't care about COVID? Didn't care about, how sick people were when they were coming in. We all have to shut down and lock ourselves in our houses and everything. Everyone's got to get all vaxxed, but we can bring in anyone who. But if they're an illegal alien, then just bring them on in, fly them on in. I mean, well, you have to ask yourself, why do you think all that happened? And the most obvious answer is that they were really being shipped to states like New York, kept in California, and basically try to get more members in the House. I mean, think about how retarded this is. Think about how insane that is. That you incentivize people who think that they're going to have and that they think they're going to have more political power. I mean, think of how selfish you have to be. That you're supposed to be set up there to try and help make the country a better place, and you're basically saying, "I'm going to help skunk the country." By basically, bringing in all of these illegal, undocumented people who are going to destroy our job market, overwhelm our healthcare system, and create grave security risks. Because even if 99, and one of the talking points of the left is that, there's because they're afraid of being caught, so most of them are nonviolent. That's a theory. That's a theory. But the more people you have, even if there are a higher percentage of them, even if that were true, which I personally don't believe is true. I don't believe it's true. But even if it were true, if you have more people in here, the more people you have, the more violent crimes there's going to be. I mean, that's just common sense, right? I mean, even if they're the most peaceful people on earth, the random people coming across our border are the most peaceful people on earth. I don't know how you would know that or why you would believe that, but even if you believe that, there's still some percentage that you recognize are going to be violent criminals. If you don't know who's coming in here, that's why we're all in favor of legal immigration. You don't hear people on the right in the last 15 years complaining about legal immigration. And it's not like our legal immigration is something that's like a paltry sum. We were averaging 1 million legal citizens per year for like the last 40, 50 years. Which, if you think that that's like a small number, just bear in mind that the number of legal citizens we've brought into this country dwarfs the rest of the world. There's no country in history which has allowed as many legal citizens into the country. And the point to having legal citizens is there's certain yardsticks as to who we're bringing in here. One of those yardsticks that people don't like to hear about is that they're not going to come in here and basically be on the public dime the moment that they walk in here and be destroying our economy. And if you think that that's a heartless perspective, then you haven't seen the gumball video, because the gumball video basically points out just how foolish blind altruism to the whole world is, how foolish, short-sighted, and just self-destructive to everything. There's no benefit even the long term to the world for us to basically drown ourselves. But anyway, I didn't really want to go down on that. I don't want to go down that whole long road. But when I see someone who seems to disagree with me come in respectfully, I actually try to give them a little extra attention. I'm Gene Nelson, known for the space laser. Yeah, that makes me the dimwit, I guess. Just for the goal. Thank you. Thank you, Gene Nelson. Here we go. He wants the proof. I should have made a lighter goal just because I know that the numbers are going to be lower tonight. Did you happen to see any clips of the crap show that was the New York City mayoral debate? I covered that a little bit on Thursday. On Thursday night, I covered that somewhat. Yeah. Just a reminder that the following isn't a cult, just Joe recruiting unpaid laborers for the tunnel digging project. This is true. That is pretty much a summation of what it is. There's really no other purpose to having the following. So, dig faster. All right, let's talk a little bit before I get to the no Kings thing. Can I just share? I want to share with you something. I want to share just because I like you guys. A story that some of you may have heard of, some of you may not have, some of you may not have. Colin Rugg saying, new 38-year-old accountant Benjamin Michael Campbell was arrested after allegedly opening fire on a MAGA supporter over a Trump sign, according to the Daily Mail. Campbell is accused of firing shots at 62-year-old Mark Thomas in North Carolina. According to Thomas, Campbell was driving on the road when he came to a screeching halt after seeing a Trump sign. Quote, he was driving along, saw the sign, slammed on his brakes, had a political trigger moment, and he just had to tear the sign down, Thomas said to the Daily Mail. He started reaching up on his tippy toes, trying to get to the edge of the sign. I just thought to myself, this is not happening. I don't believe this. Thomas said he went outside and fired 2 warning shots. By this point, he had ripped the sign off and just whipped it up and then threw it down on the ground like he was proud of what he just did. I thought, holy smokes. Campbell then returned to his car, got a gun before firing 5 to 6 rounds at Thomas. He fired 5 to 6 rounds as he was heading back down the driveway to the highway that passes in front of my place. Campbell, who's 5'6", was later arrested and charged with Class C felony assault, facing 17 years in prison. Class C felony sounds like a lot less than 17 years. But let's check out this video here, because this is a really interesting thing. There's Campbell. You can see here he is over here in the. Well, let's check this out. I really hope that YouTube doesn't ding me for that, because that would really stink. I can't believe they would, right? I mean, that would be really harsh to ding me for that, right? That would be. To me, the best part of this story is that they put in here Campbell, the best Campbell, who's 5'6". And then they show him on his tippy toes. Which Colin was asked about this. Campbell, who's 5'6", this actually adds to the story. It paints a fuller picture because this is typical manlet behavior. But someone says, LOL, why'd you mention Campbell's height? Just making sure the facts are That's why. That's why. I guess a picture says 1,000 words. So there you go. That's Campbell. He's not happy. And if you have a Trump sign, you can see him on his tippy toes. So just be aware that he seems to like firing shots off, because that's what hobbits do. That's what hobbits do. I thought that story was funny, so I was like, let me just share that. There's a lot of things. What did I have anything? Was there another story I wanted to cover? We'll just get into. Let's get into the No Kings protest, because I think that's a really, really interesting thing. As I said, I think that they're almost making him a king by doing this. It's like you're basically making the guy. You're raising him up on a platform that we don't raise him on. I agree we shouldn't have kings. I agree we should not have kings. But the notion that he's a king is kind of silly. It's kind of stupid. So if he was a king, he would just ignore what the Supreme Court says, instead of, trying to work within the boundaries that they put in there. So there's a couple of people who have gone viral as a result of the No Kings rally. We should probably get this out of the way first. This is one dude. is a Chicago protester who is calling for shooting of ICE agents. Let's do it with this one.
You gotta grab a gun. We gotta turn around the guns on this fascist system. These ICE agents gotta get shot and wiped out. The state machinery, that's a full display right there, has to get wiped out. You gotta grab a gun.
Wow. 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 I'm going to tell you something. That's probably incitement. That is probably incitement. He's saying assuming that there were ICE agents right there. And that's what I think he's saying at the end of this. To me, this is a much bigger deal than that teacher. This is, I think it might be blocking, so let's do it like this.
The guns on this fascist system. These ICE agents gotta get shot and wiped out. The state machinery, that's a full display right there, has to get wiped out. You gotta.
Now, to me, assuming that he's accurate there, this is incitement. This is a crime. What he said here is a crime. Because incitement is not that, irrespective of whether or not anyone picked up a gun and took his suggestion, incitement is the statement. The actions that happen afterwards don't make it incitement or make it not incitement. They don't serve to create guilt or exonerate you. This is one of the problems that they had with what Trump said when they were bandying around the notion of trying to catch him on incitement for his speech at the Ellipse on January 6, 2021. That the attorneys in Congress, which is most people who are in Congress are, some sort of legal background, they recognized that under the Supreme Court precedent, there was no way to interpret anything he said as being legal incitement. That was the frustration that they had. In Brandenburg v. Ohio, the Supreme Court said in order for something to qualify as being incitement, it has to be something that you're inciting people to engage in violence that is temporal in time and place. Like saying, go shoot those people. If people listen to you, if you're not trying to incite them to do that, if he was basically saying, I hate ICE, and that he wanted ICE, and he wanted, or someone says, I hate Mr. X, and we need to go kill Mr. X. Let's say he said, I don't want to use the example of a president because there's all sorts of added protections that happen for threats against the president of the United States. But let's say someone just says that they hate, throw any name out there, it could be left or right. Someone says they hate George Soros, or that they hate Elon Musk, and that they want, and that we need to, and someone would, express something, and I'm certainly not expressing it now. I'm afraid of violating some sort of YouTube rule, because I'm clearly not trying to incite anyone here, because I think political violence is abhorrent and disgusting and self-defeating, stupid, and a lot of other harsh terms. But assuming some speaker was making a statement about that, and we're very precise saying that this needs to happen, even if they gave out a schedule as to where that guy's going to be next week, that's not incitement, because it has to have a nexus in time and place of speech to conduct and the ability for them, people to carry that out. So if someone makes a statement like that because Elon Musk isn't there or George Soros isn't there, it cannot qualify as being incitement. It's legally protected speech. It might be gross speech. It might be heinous speech. You might say it's vile and evil and disgusting, and these people should be shunned by society, but it's not legally prosecutable. It's your protected right as an American. American citizen, at least. Whether or not it should be protected by an illegal alien is a different question, but it's definitely your right as an American citizen to make a statement like that. And those protections are carved out by what we call the Brandenburg Standard because of that Supreme Court decision, Brandenburg v. Ohio. This guy seems to violate that. It's a rare thing for someone to violate that. And it does not matter whether people take your suggestion up and start trying to carry it out or not. So if Trump says something and people twist his words around to do something different from what he's saying, that cannot be deemed incitement. That's the problem that they had. He never was expressed in directing people to engage in storming the Capitol. He said we're going to march peacefully and patriotically, even if folks would read between some folks are reading between the lines, or you could think to yourself, hey, some people might take that too far. He's not trying to incite. So there's no nexus between him and some lunatic. You have to express that, hey, this is what I want you to do. This too is Supreme Court precedent. You can't just reinvent what the words mean. So this was the problem they had with charging him with incitement. And that's why they kept coming to the whole insurrection claim. They actually ran like polls trying to figure out what's the best term we should use for this whole J6 thing that sounds most illegal. And that's when they settled on the term insurrection, which was a joke, but that is how they came to embrace that term as the term of art, to try and make it portray it as some uniquely evil, some unique thing never seen before in American history, rather than comparing it to, like, I don't know, taking over a police station in Seattle for a week, or trying to tear down a courthouse in Portland night after night for weeks. So this guy here, though, if he's actually pointing toward ICE and saying that we need to go grab a gun and we need to take them down, if they are there, it doesn't matter whether people listen to him or don't listen to him. It's the statement itself, standing alone. If that is temporal in time and place to an event that can happen, near in time and near in location, if that is, then once you make the statement, whether or not people listen to you, it becomes irrelevant. You committed a crime the moment the words leave your mouth. So now, I don't know if he's going to be prosecuted for incitement, but frankly, in Chicago, I don't know whether or not you would ever get 12 people. Maybe you could. I don't know. In federal court, you're more likely to be able to get people who would convict. It's not like it's DC. But that was pretty nuts. That guy was pretty nuts. Anyway, Libs of TikTok is reporting, who she shared this out, saying he was referred to the DOJ per my source. This is Moises Bernal, senior, who is he? Adult education manager, Moises Bernal. I think he's about to find out. I have a feeling this guy is about to find out. Because this guy's a lunatic. And apparently he's been referred to the DOJ. Oh, this isn't what I wanted. That was the other story I thought about sharing with you when I missed it. Maybe we'll come back to that later. We'll see. Perhaps we'll come back to that. My first non-gifted membership. Just wanted to congratulate you and give a few shekels toward your most recent blessing. Thank you. I feel like the bigger congratulations is that I got someone to have to give their first ever membership. That's like a massive congratulation. I assume you mean my niece, and I say thank you. Thank you very much, Rocky. I hope I can deliver and live up to all your dreams and expectations. Joe, I'm 5'6". I'm not sure. I'm fun size. You don't look 5'6". You actually, if you made me guess, Breck Nichols, I would have assumed that you were 6'2", and I'm going to keep it at that. I would assume you were like way taller than me. If I met you on the street and you basically were a 5'6" mugger, I'd be like, I don't know who it was, but one person I know it's not is Breck Nichols. I can't be the only one who looks at this picture and was like, that's a tall dude. That's a tall dude. But AKA Batusi hitting me with 10 new members of the following. AKA Batusi. That's loud. Who did you bring on in here? The following 10 people brought into the following courtesy of AKA Batusi. When you hear your name, I'd be most Batusai. I'd be most obliged if you would extend your gratitude to him for this very, very generous gift, life-altering gift, because the following is a gathering of like-minded individuals who are concerned with greater personal growth. Not at all a cult type of cult. Diamond G, C.K. Taylor, Aquanet, Douth Diaries. All right. Katie Bradley, Richard Wharton, KZ, LB, Jackers Girl, and Kobe Tiger, all of them brought into the following courtesy of AKA Batusai. Please bear in mind, like I said, the following is not at all a cult. It's just a gathering of like-minded individuals who are seeking greater personal growth through community and unity and learning and thinking. So, welcome to the following. We have cookies. I never thought I agree with the Ninth Circuit on NG deployment. The world has turned upside down. This is Allegan News, who's basically saying to me, how is it you are not talking about the fact that the Ninth Circuit overturned the district courts and said Trump's allowed to deploy the National Guard in Portland? Why are you not talking about this, Joe? Aren't you still a lawyer? Did you just turn in your whole law card? Is that what happened? That's what he's trying to say. That did happen. The Ninth Circuit basically came out and said, no, you can't stop him from deploying the National Guard. In a shocking turn of events, because the Ninth Circuit, which is situated on the left coast, if you're looking at the map of the United States, like it was up here behind me, the left side over here, this side over here, that would be like where the Ninth Circuit is. And they tend to be pretty liberal. Pretty liberal. And yet, they sided with Trump. I don't know. Maybe they're tired of the Supreme Court yelling at them. Maybe they were just very tired of that. Because the Supreme Court has been doing a great deal of yelling at them. Saying your whole no kings rallies that you're having in the circuit court are kind of stupid. Because you're turning yourselves into kings. Speaking of people who really, really, really wish they were kings. I have to share this clip with you. And then the quote on this is, I wish I had written this. Look at these two people here.
This is what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks
Woo!
like.
This.
Cory Booker, my Senator Cory Booker, and Adam Schiff, Senator from California. Best line was, and the crowd goes mild. And the crowd goes mild. This is what democracy looks like. What does that even mean? What is this? This the stupidest phrases. Such a dumb phrase. Such a dumb phrase. All right. Let me break down for you. Some of the stuff that's been happening here. Some of the stuff at the No Kings rally. We'll look at some of the stupider stuff that's been happening. So, actually, I'll save this one because this one I want to spend a little time talking about. I'm going to save that one. Let's talk about Lucy Martinez. We'll talk about her. This is one that everyone's making a big deal about. On October 18, 2025, Lisa Martinez, a K-8 STEM teacher at Nathan Hale Elementary School in Chicago's West Beverly neighborhood, was recorded simulating a gunshot to her neck while laughing near a truck honoring conservative activist Charlie Kirk, who was assassinated September 10, 2025 in Orem, Utah. Video from the No Kings protest went viral, prompting condemnations from figures including Riley Gaines and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who criticized her conduct as unfit for educating children. And I agree that this is not someone who should be teaching children. I agree with that. This person is kind of insane. Can I get like a video? I really just wanted a video of her doing it. It's a very short video. I know I have it here somewhere. Give me 1 second. Let me see. Oh, before I move on to her, just to let you know, DHS, they sent this out during the Chicago No Kings rally. This about that the guy attacking ICE. Violent rioters call for the cold-blooded murder of ICE agents. This rioter and statements have been referred to the DOJ by Homeland Security. There's no place in America for psychotic incitements of unlawful violence against ICE or CBP. To those who threaten violence against us, we will hunt you down, we will find you, and justice will be served. There you go. There you go. So I guess justice is potentially coming for this guy. And I think that what he did there is technically incitement. Now, it's rare to charge incitement when there's no violence that follows up. That doesn't mean that you haven't committed a crime. It's just a matter of, I think prosecutors might feel it's difficult to get a conviction. And if I was a prosecutor, I can see where I'd be concerned that, am I going to be able to convince a jury that this technical violation of incitement is something that should be taken seriously if no one ends up taking a shot? No one ends up actually engaging in violence. Frankly, I assume of any kind, to the ICE agents in the vicinity. So it could be a tough sell to the jury. It could be. And prosecutors tend to be loath to take cases that are tough sells to a jury. But I do think that from a technical perspective, it is a violation of law. That was the point I was getting at. Why can't I find this video of this woman? Oh, here it is. I knew I had it here. This is one angle, and frankly, not the most flattering. That's not fun. That's not a good angle. That's a bad angle in a lot of ways. That's a very bad angle in a lot of ways. Here it is. I think this is there you go. That's the angle, which is not really much better. Perhaps the first video is better.
Hey! You ever heard of Ozempic, you fat ass?
Yeah. Sorry for the bad angle.
Hey!
Sick. It's very, very sick. Very, very sick. So, response from the school. She works at Nathan Hale Elementary. Yesterday, Nathan Hale Elementary says, yesterday I was made aware of an incident involving one of our teachers who participated in a community protest that was not affiliated with Nathan Hale Elementary School or the district. During the event, tensions rose when individuals drove by the protest attempting to provoke participants. In a moment of emotion, one of our teachers responded in a way that does not reflect the professionalism and respect we expect from our staff. While this incident took place on off school grounds and outside of school hours, I have spoken directly with the teacher involved, and the matter has been addressed internally. We recognize that these are difficult times in our community and that emotions often run high. When people feel strongly about important issues, our priority remains fostering understanding, empathy, and respect both inside and outside the classroom. How is this person capable of fostering understanding, empathy, and respect? No, seriously. Like, how is she even capable of that? Why would you think for a second she has the capacity for that? If that's what this clown show of an individual, that's how she acts. We remain focused on what truly matters, supporting our students, families, and staff in a safe, inclusive, respectful learning environment. Sincerely, Dawn Ilez Gomez, Principal, Nathan Hale Elementary School. This is what their statement is. I'm making a prediction that they change their stance on this. That's my prediction. This is their first take, and I think that they don't realize the world of hassle that they're dealing with now. Because that woman, it's a fake statement. I don't know if that's a fake statement or not. She was fired, and rightfully so. All right. Let's ask Rock. What happened to her? What, if anything, happened to her? Whatever happened. What's her name again? Lucy Martinez? All right. Well, Grok is trying to figure that out. Not a cult, then why do I have to wear a tracksuit? It's not mandatory. The tracksuit is not mandatory. Everyone knows that. We should have followed the No Kings rally with the No Queens rally just to piss the left off. You go, Queen. You go, Queen. The video of Lucy Martinez, a second grade teacher at Nathan Hale Elementary School in Chicago Public Schools, mocking Charlie Kirk assassination during October 8th. Oh, she works in the public school, so she might walk. During the October 18, 2025 No Kings protest in West Beverly, Chicago, exploded online starting October 19th and amassed millions of views, drawing sharp condemnation. Conservative figures like Ryan Fournier, Megyn Kelly, and Representative Chip Roy, who highlighted her role as an educator influencing young children. She gets $103,000 for that. The clip originally shared on Instagram by that 84 Bullnose, who drove a truck with Kirk memorialized flag through the protest, led to Martinez's quick identification. Users flooded her school's online reviews and social media with demands for her termination, calling her actions reprehensible and unfit for a classroom. So I've made this statement before about folks like this, and I will make it again. Like, doxing, because look, she's a loathsome individual. She's a disgusting, awful human being. No question. Right? I mean, just look at this. I mean, everything about you is gross. So she's a gross person. Right? My take on it is not that her life should be over for this. I don't think that, depending on the nature of her job, like, I wouldn't want Home Depot to fire her. I wouldn't want you know, a lot of service industries to fire her because someone who's revolting, as Lucy Martinez clearly is revolting, does that mean that her life is over because she's a revolting person? Well, there's a lot of revolting people out there, but she should not be in the service industry in a capacity where her views and perspectives impact the nature of her service. So that's why I remember there was a video of there was some woman who did something similarly revolting long before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. It was, I think, during COVID period or something like that, or someone wrote something evil and gross about Trump or whatever. I don't know, and was doxxed. And she worked at Home Depot at the counter. And there was a video of someone who was harassing the hell out of this woman at Home Depot. And when I saw that video, I was like, this is not heroic going after her. What would you prefer? So she should be unemployed and we're going to have to pay for her forever? Like the public will have to pay for all the revolting people? No. She's already working at Home Depot, which is not a career path that anyone takes. That's Home Depot, working the counter at Home Depot is not a career path. No one says, I want to grow up and work the counter at Home Depot, right? I mean, she's doing a job to survive. And that's not to demean those people who are blue collar and work in that type of service. Some folks are in that situation. That's what they need to do. And we all do what we need to do to survive. I'm not denigrating that. I'm simply saying this is not something which is a job where her opinions matter at all in the nature of the performance of her job. So her perspectives, as revolting as they may be, are not something that's impacting anything. She's not in an exalted position. So her life is already pretty dead end by most people's yardsticks. What more do you want? So she's revolting? Okay. You teach her to not be revolting. It's not, but that's very different from someone whose nature of service is their teacher. Because now your unique perspectives on the world are helping to mold other minds. It's who you are as a person is now affecting the nature of the product that you're putting out there, the nature of the service that you're delivering. So that type of person, I do think that it makes sense to dox them to ensure that they are not going to be poisoning other people. You could similarly, if it's sufficiently revolting, if they were in the food service industry, I would say, if they're going to basically, be treating people like crap and spitting in their food, if they don't like their politics, they disagree with them politically, or, there's a risk of that. Well, then, yeah, okay, that's another type of job where I would say that they shouldn't be in. Or if they're a lawyer, right? I mean, there's a lot of different service industries, or people we saw in medical professionals who are basically saying that they wouldn't treat people they disagree with politically. Those people are lunatics and they should be shunned by society and they should be stripped of any sort of access to providing that type of service. Because here now, the nature of your service is relevant to how you're going to deal with your potential customers. And you're a hazard now. Now you're a danger to society. But if someone's in some dead-end job, so that doesn't apply to Lucy Martinez. I do think that doxing her is a good idea. And I do think harassing the school is probably a good idea. I don't think what she did is remotely criminal. It's very different from the first guy who we're looking at. That first doofus, what he was doing is, potentially dangerous. What she's doing is she's just making a jackass out of herself. It's a very big difference. So, with that in mind, the left is losing their minds, or something Trump did as a result, or something Trump shared. A little bit trolling a little bit of trolling from Trump. And he has been trolling very, very hard. Very hard. What was this? Oh, this was what I wanted. Where was it? Where was it? Where was the plane thing? You all know what I'm looking for. Nope. I gotta be very careful. He's always playing songs that are almost desperate to get me demonetized. J.D. Vance went on to Blue Sky and played this. That's funny. That's funny. He's resharing J.D. Vance's thing. I'm gonna have to cut the music. J.D. Vance going on to Blue Sky. And showing Nancy and everyone bowing down to him like he's Simba. Like he's freaking Simba at the end of The Lion King. That is the best video. Oh, I love this video. Oh, I don't care if I get demonetized on this one. Kneel to the crowd. That is such great use of oh my God. That is so good. That is so good. Oh my God. Chuck Schumer and Nancy bowing and kneeling to King Trump. Oh, delicious. Delicious. Tastier than Wanda. There was one more. This is the one I think that got them all upset. This is the one that got them really, 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 really angry. This is the one. Why is this not happening? Yeah, let's refresh. Maybe that'll fix it. Now, this honestly is not I don't think it's nearly as funny as the other stuff. I'm like, okay. I see what you're doing there. Okay. The left is going nuts. Just like he's the master. He's the master of knowing which buttons to push. This guy knows exactly. See, I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't go there. But Kenny Loggins, who sings that song, I don't know if he wrote it or not, apparently is not happy. Oh no, Kenny. Oh no, Kenny. Oh no, Kenny. Kenny's not happy. Apparently, Kenny Loggins slams Donald Trump for using his song. This is an unauthorized use of my performance of Danger Zone. Nobody asked me for my permission, which I would have denied. And I request that my recording on this video is removed immediately. I can't imagine why anybody who would want their music used or associated with something created for the sole purpose of dividing us. Too many people are trying to tear us apart, and we need to find new ways to come together. We're all Americans, and we're all patriotic. There isn't There's no us and them. That's not who we are, nor is it what we should be. It's all of us. We're in this together. It's my hope that we can embrace music as a way of celebrating and uniting each and every one of us. Oh, come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. It's not really slamming him for using it. It's just saying, don't stop using it. Stop using it for that. Stop using it for that. So, what's his face? Sorry, that's my name for Mike Johnson. What's his face? I'm not a big Mike Johnson fan, okay? I admit I'm not a very big Mike Johnson fan. What's his face weighed in? Got too many tabs here. Is this the right one? I'm not sure if this is the right one. I thought it was shorter than this. Let me pull up the right one. No, here it is. This is the right one.
That the President of the United States over the weekend released a video of him pooping on the American people.
The president uses social media
Who says it was American people? Maybe it was on illegal aliens.
to make the point. You can argue he's probably the most effective person who's ever used social media for that. He is using satire to make a point. He is not calling for the murder of his political opponents, and that's what these people are doing. I mean, they're in one of these photos. I think there's a picture of the president hanging in effigy by a noose on one of these. The one on the far end. I mean, it's unconscionable. Look, America is built on the idea of free speech. You have the right to protest. Of course, we jealously guard that. I mean, Chip and I are attorneys. We've defended that right in the courts. But what they're doing right now is different. They are trying to incite violence. It's not funny. You don't mock a president who has already had 2 failed assassination attempts on his life. This is not a game. And the idea that communists would be supporting this is unconscionable to us.
We got a lengthier statement from Mike Johnson on this issue here. A little bit longer.
Is built on the idea of free speech. You have the right to protest. Of course, we jealously guard that. I mean, Chip and I are attorneys. We've defended that right in his life. This is not a game. And the idea that communists would be supporting this is unconscionable to us. Look, when we give tours of the House chamber and we bring in constituents and we point out all the historical facts and images around the building, I always start with "In God We Trust," which of course is right above the rostrum of the speaker's podium. And if you look in the visitor's guide to the House chamber, it says on page 14, when was that put there? Well, it's put there in the early 60s, 1961, as I recall. And it says in the guide that it was put there, Congress voted to put that there as a rebuke to the Cold War era Soviets. Why? Because their philosophy, that's what it says, a rebuke to their philosophy. Their philosophy was Marxism. Marxism begins with the premise that there is no God. It is antithetical to who we are as Americans. The Declaration of Independence says we're created by God and he's the one that gave us our rights. It is in God whom we trust. That is the national motto. That's what America's built on. What those people are advocating for is at its essence un-American. And when they go the next step and they call for violence on political officials in an environment that is already a heightened threat environment, it's dangerous stuff. They had the right to do it. Congratulations, they didn't burn any buildings down. That's a big achievement for the left, to have some kind of gathering where they don't have a looting and riots and burn a building down. There was, I think, some in Portland, they threw bottles and bricks and stuff at the ICE facility because that's what they do for fun now out there. But they had a free speech event. Congratulations. But you need to look past that and look at what it is they're advocating for openly, and it's really scary stuff.
Yeah. And he happens to be correct. Mike Johnson happens to be correct about this. Here's one which should horrify you. This was shared by Libs TikTok.
What the hell?
This is how they teach little kids. We're gonna pinata Mike Donald Trump.
Who the fuck brings their kids here? Don't start that shit right now, man. Don't start that shit right now.
Get off my land! Get off my land! These are my lands! Get off my land! I told you, get off my land! These are my land! Get off my land!
Yeah. So there's really the first part of this video, which is kind of horrifying. It's kind of horrifying. This is like the way, Hamas teaches their kids to like basically let's kill our enemy, and literally trains them with guns. But the stepping stones there and the patterns are very disconcerting. That this party, which seems to be embracing embracing terrorist perspective in one area after another, are now like, it's not a system, it's not an education system the way they have in Gaza. So we're not nearly at that stage yet. But if you search online, you can find, Mickey Mouse videos that are produced in the West Bank and for Palestinian kids, basically advocating murdering the Jews, because it's like we have to kill our enemy. And you can find videos of kids who look like they're 5 or younger, who seem trained in military weapons, who are swearing that they're going to dedicate their lives and give their lives to kill Israelis. Then we see, after October 7th, this advocacy of embracing this position by both radicals on both sides of the aisle. Definitely don't want to exclude the radicals on the right, because there are radicals on the right who seem to be embracing that as well. But with focusing here on the violence of the left, now we're seeing that here it's like this picture right here, this image right here, this is where it starts. This is how this starts. So we see that political violence is something that is that they're embracing. Do they have a right to do this? A legal right to this? 100%. There's nothing illegal here. But much as this is legal speech, the necessary counter to that is for folks like me to call out just how perilous a path this is. And these are people who admire folks who do train their young to basically kill. So, and we're seeing violence ratchet up here. So it's not something we should take lightly. Again, we're miles and miles away from like what's happening on the West Bank. I'm not looking to be alarmist. I'm simply looking to that, the situation is dire right now. I'm simply saying that this is leading to a situation. These are steps in a very unhealthy direction. That's what Mike Johnson was getting at there. And I think that he's correct in pointing that out. You have educators who are basically mocking the idea that Charlie Kirk was shot in the neck. I mean, how insane is that? And then a school seems to be trying to protect her. I mean, how insane is that? You don't recognize what a danger it is to have this person influencing and sculpting young minds? Like, what the hell's wrong with you? It's a bad situation. It's a bad situation. When he said that it's Marxist, so this is what's being reported as the finance coming from, where this financing is coming from. The finances are Arabella, Warren Buffett, Ford, Rockefeller, Soros, and Tides Foundation, $294 million. And they have the whole breakdown here of different, of where these are the contributors from Arabella, Buffett, Ford, Rockefeller, Soros, Tides, and the totals to these different agencies, which seem to openly advocate for Marxist type of perspective. Save image as. Let me see if I can make this a little bigger so you can see it, because I know you can't see anything there. It's always got to be the Jews on top, right? That's what you have to do. A Jewish Voice for Peace, Inc., American Atheists, American Civil Liberty, the ACLU, Americans United for Separation of Church and State, Arab American Institute Foundation, Ben, it's the Arabs and the Jews, Ben the Ark, a Jewish Partnership for Justice, Care in Action, Carolina for an Education Foundation, Center for Biological Diversity, Center for Common Ground, Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, Climate Museum, Common Cause Education Fund, Common Defense Civic Engagement, Conservation Colorado, Citizen Action Group, Consumer Federation of America, Corporate Accountability, Debt Collective, Defending Rights and Dissent, Inc. I wonder if Rise and Resist is on this list. No, they're not. Okay. I'm not sure why. Not sure why. I'm sure they get lots of money too. National LGBTQ Task Force, Move On Civic Action, Moms Rising, League of Women's Voters. And look at these staggering numbers. I mean, if you look at these numbers, 79 million from Arabella. These are the numbers on the bottom that I was reading off before. 51 million from Ford, 72 million from the Tides Foundation. Now, they're claiming that this is all part of the No Kings protest. I don't think that all of this went to the No Kings protest. So I don't know if I agree with that assessment. But it is the same folks. Now, how successful were they in bringing folks out? That's another question. That's a different question. So they were claiming, the left was claiming that 7 million people attending these rallies. I can assure you it's not 7 million. That I'm positive of. I don't know if it's as low as they're saying here. Gunther's saying just announced approximately combined 650,000 people attending No Kings. That's what he's reporting here. What else do we have? That wasn't what I wanted. Real numbers coming after fake images appear from No Kings protests. I had another thing here. There's another thing Gunther shared out. The protests were a flop. Crowds in D.C. started to disperse by 2:33. A CNN reporter said the crowds are thin. I guess they all have to get back to the nursing home. Check this out.
Well, Frederica, this program of speakers just ended a short time ago. I can tell you that the crowd is thinning out here. People have started to leave, but boy, it was jam-packed here just a few minutes ago. Just a few minutes ago, was still going on. You had Senator Bernie Sanders, who just wrapped up to a rousing round of applause. Senator Chris Murphy spoke. Bill Nye, the science guy, spoke. And again, the crowds are thinned, but they're not gone yet. I mean, there was just tens of thousands of people packed into a relatively small space here on Pennsylvania Avenue, and they were pressing forward as they arrived, to pack into a very, very tight space. Well, Frederica, this program of...
All right. Here's the No Kings protest. A lot of people are noticing there's a lot of old people at these protests. Matt Van Swell saying this is the No Kings protest in Marion, North Carolina, about a 30-minute drive from Asheville. This is the crowd that showed up there. So I guess they look like they got like 50 people, and one Cocker Spaniel in a costume there, or whatever that's supposed to be. Is that Cocker Spaniel? Is that what that is? No kings, no fear. They're all old people. This is not organic. That's not organic. It doesn't make sense how it's all old people. It doesn't make any sense.
To be with you. Thanks.
I'm joined now by the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, right here in the studio. Speaker Johnson, thank you for joining us.
Glad to be with you. Thanks.
So let's start with the No Kings rallies. You called these Hate America rallies. What do you mean by that?
Well, that collection of folks that I listed were certainly part of it. We congratulate them on a apparently violent free speech exercise. I was a First Amendment lawyer for 20 years. We defend that right. But the irony of the message is pretty clear for everyone. If President Trump was a king, the government would be open right now. If President Trump was a king, they would not have been able to engage in that free speech exercise out on the mall, by the way, which was open because President Trump hasn't closed it. In the last shutdown, 2013 era, President Obama closed the National Mall, it closed all the national parks, didn't allow people to engage in all this. So, I mean, they needed a stunt, they needed a show. Chuck Schumer needs cover right now. He's closed the government down because he needs political cover, and this was a part of it.
I'm joined now by the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, right here in the studio. Speaker Johnson, thank you.
So, and that's probably an accurate assessment. Quote, it's okay to be organized. Antifa have been taking the call from Antifa Collective Crime Think to urge more organizing for violence. They're embedded in the No Kings protest, where they were protected by human shields and liberals. However, they appear to lack the numbers in New York City on October 18th to carry out violence as planned. It's okay to express your rage. It's okay to be organized. Not at all. Not at all a terrorist organization. No. This is a call for you. Yes, you specifically, to organize an anti-authoritarian bloc in your community for the No Kings demonstrations on October 18th. If you're willing to do this, skip directly to the House section. Fascism has come to power in the United States. Not at all hyperbole. People around the world are horrified. No, they're not. But simply marching in the streets once every few months is not enough. We have to get out there and draw people into concrete organizing activity. What does that mean? No one else is going to do that for us. Far-right billionaires have bought up practically all of the media outlets and communication platforms. Okay, most of them are left-leaning. Our best chance to reach people is the streets through grassroots initiatives. No Kings is not our only opportunity to reach out to people, but as Trump consolidates control, what do you think he has control of NBC, of MSNBC, of CBS, of ABC? It's like so stupid. Anarchists are known for our courage. We have gotten used to acting boldly in an array of contexts. What is needed now is the courage to take that first step to establish public positions around which a fighting movement can cohere. This is both scary and simpler than many of the things we've done in the past. Oh, that sounds a lot more aggressive than march peacefully and patriotically. Just saying. To face down Donald Trump's power grab. Where's the power grab? His terror campaign targeting Antifa. We need everyone of all walks of life to proclaim that opposition to fascism is both laudable and urgent. We must contribute to a ferment that brings it together everyone from the fiercest participants in the George Floyd revolt to the retirees that protested at Tesla outlets last spring. Okay. Yeah. Somehow it doesn't seem very peaceful or democratic. Doesn't seem very there. The Finder is always very busy at No King's Day protests. These people get so mad about it too. Oh, the retard.
Don't touch people. Come on. Keep your hands to yourself. Keep your hands. They're so. Why do you always go to violence and keying Teslas and throwing Molotov cocktails? Why do you always have to get violent? Peaceful protest. Peaceful protests. Peaceful protests. Peaceful protests. Peaceful.
So I assume these were at the Tesla rallies, not the No Kings thing. White guy who bought a keffiyeh off Amazon harasses a black Jewish man, calling him a white colonizer. You literally can't make this up.
You, brother, are doing the work of the white supremacists. I just want to let you know you're doing amazing white supremacist work. And if you go over into them colonized lands, you out of your mind. Nothing to say? Nothing to say. Where are you from, bro?
Africa.
What part of Africa? Brother, you from what part of Africa?
Kenya.
You from Kenya?
Yeah.
Are you Jewish?
Yes, I am.
Are you Jewish? You took a minute to answer. Are you actually Jewish? He said he's Jewish.
Not Jew.
Okay. You know this flag wasn't created until 1897. The real logo for Judaism was the candles. Up until 1897, this was made up by the Rothschilds. This is Zionism. This has nothing to do with Judaism. Brother, you from Africa. You from the homeland. What is this? White supremacy. Brother, Kenya is right next to Palestine.
What candles? What are you
Israel
talking
is a
about?
made-up Zionist settler colonial white supremacist state. This is made up, make-believe. Come on, black man.
Wow. Stunning and brave. This guy's stunning and brave. Yeah. This is footage from the No Kings Day Parade in Bainbridge Island, Washington. They're all white. They're all old, many likely in their 70s, definitely glued to the mainstream media at home. I don't even understand it. I don't understand. How is it we don't know yet where these people are coming from? That to me is what's weird.
Don't you know, talking about a revolution sounds.
Yeah, I don't want that. This is not worth listening to and getting demonetized for. So also, they all seem to have somebody in a helium costume. I don't know what the story is with that. Maybe you guys know. What's with the helium costumes? Oh, is that what it is? The Bainbridge is just all old people? It could be that. It could be that. Nancy and Chuck Kneeling is from King Floyd. Public schools expel kids for making that gesture. She's talking about the neck gesture. Use that argument. She needs fired. Yeah, she definitely does. Kenny probably sold his rights to a licensing company. That's what I read also in 2018. That he doesn't own the rights to the song. He was saying that he doesn't want a recording of his voice associated with it. I think that's what he was saying in this thing. Which, get over it. Hey, Jim tells you has rated me. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim. So yeah, that's in Bainbridge. This is the one I wanted. This is the one I wanted to watch with you. I'm a big fan of Nate Friedman. This guy does homework. He does a lot of homework.
Guys, I think this is maybe one of the.
Yeah, no,
What's that?
No, we're good. No, but I don't know.
Oh no, I'm just press asking questions.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, no. He's not asking. But no, it's. I don't know.
Okay, so they had a full panic and just talked over each other. Now, this woman did the scripted right-wing troll line, which I guess they must have forgotten to pick up their signs because that's exactly what they did to me last time. And before that, a different paid protester with the exact same sign followed me around the Take Down Tesla protest. So who are these people, really? Keep watching.
I'm here to marshal and keep people safe. That's my job here today, and I'm just going to do my job.
What do you mean by like marshal?
We help traffic. We help people with the traffic. We help cars redirect. We help bike messages.
Okay.
We're helping people be safe on the streets.
Does that mean you guys are working with the NYPD?
Yes, we talk to them.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. That's interesting. But is there like a briefing before, like that you guys work with the
NYPD?
Yeah.
No.
So how do they know that like you're out there marshaling with them?
They're not blind.
And neither am I. This is you calling ICE thugs, and with a $50,000 bounty on ICE agents, you have blood on your hands. This is you taking it a step further and calling them the Gestapo. Back again at a different protest, and again and again. The company she works for is Rise and Resist. They are one of the nonprofits receiving a portion of the $7.6 million from George Soros and were responsible for the takedown Tesla protests that often resulted in vandalism. They claim that all of their events are non-violent, which is odd because there's hundreds of pictures of their protesters getting arrested. One of the things they love to do is organize sit-ins at Trump Tower, and they're politely escorted out of the building and released from custody almost instantly, which means that the supposed king is quite forgiving with people trespassing his family's home. The donation link to Rise and Resist goes straight through Act Blue. Now it's really her associates that are the star players on the protesting field. Watch this. You see her? She works with Karen Shaw, the kazoo lady from the previous No Kings rally. This is her making the signs for Rise and Resist in their little print shop. Yes, I'm looking into this print shop. She protests whatever is on the schedule. Back again in front of the courthouse asking to abolish ICE, which is to take the sides of the vicious, violent criminals that have been deported by ICE. She wants to, quote, free them all, and she's doing this sit-in again inside of Trump's family home. The president is very aware of paid protesting now. Now I saved the best for last with this group because look at this guy here. Meet Casimir Yanish. He is a professional protester. Here he is with the infamous Karen Kazoo lady. You know how they frequently work in teams. Now, what is concerning about this guy in particular is not just that he is a professional protester, but that he is an election worker. His official start date was January 2020. According to his LinkedIn, he is a director of architecture and engineering at New York City. And according to governorsalaries.com, he's receiving an annual wage of $121,000. The question is he protesting on the taxpayer's dime? Casimir took part in the famous paid protester group photo that I've exposed. See the Karen Kazoo lady here? And of course Stuart Waldman, who was on the board of Rise and Resist. Casimir had no social media that I could find, but here he is on his friend's Instagram, and he's clearly labeled in the caption. According to Casimir's LinkedIn, he is also a Columbia University alum, and here he is at an alumni event. Casimir has donated to a fund that was established to provide legal assistance and financial support to those who get arrested at protests. So he's spending his money wisely, and as a graduate of Columbia, I'm sure he's proud of what his alma mater is up to these days. Next up, I ran into a woman with a guillotine poster at the peaceful protest.
So there you go. That's Nate Friedman doing God's work. Doing God's work. He's really great. He deserves a follow. And here's Wall Street Apes talking about how buses are seen bringing in protesters for No King's Day protest yesterday in Texas.
Look at this. And there's buses behind us. Wow, look at all these buses.
She's playing solitaire.
Look at this. And there's buses behind us. All coming up here. All paid for by the radical left. Amazing.
Yeah. So they work very hard to get people out to these protests and get a lot of funding for it.
Why is everyone here so old?
Another one with the age. This is kind of
Why is everyone here so old? I'm just wondering, like, where's all the young?
I work for the Board of Elections, and that's all you see.
Why is that? Where's all the young people? I counter protested a couple weeks ago. There was one of that rat person, Charlie Kirk. I went and counter protested there, and everyone there was so young. They were so young, a lot of beautiful people. And then I come here, and I went to another ones, and everyone's just old.
Don't say that like
Why is that? I'm just wondering why is it all the old people are at these and all the young beautiful people are at his? Why is that?
he did better, whatever.
He did better. We got to figure out what he was doing.
Well, the way he did everything on the internet and, you know.
So we got to get on. Oh, so we got to get on the internet.
Well, you got to get on social media.
Okay, so
Democrats have always been
lackluster on the social medias. I'm going to start an account today and tell more attractive people to come to these.
Yes.
Well, you don't need to
We need better looking women at these. Not that, of course, you women are beautiful. No, you guys. You guys are beautiful.
There you go. There you go. So we'll close out with Scott Jennings. Talking about what the left stands for today these days. A raspy Scott Jennings.
The Communist Party it's on the poster here in New York City.
Thank you.
I mean, you've got boomer cranks. They've been protesting every day. Cranky commies, Antifa people. I mean, what they're saying is true. A lot of the people with these sympathies are going to be at these events. I'm sure there'll be some peaceful protesters there. I hope there's no violence. But given what we've seen in cities around America, it is highly likely we're going to see violent elements. Look, I mean, if Democrats want to embrace having the Communist Party here in New York City sponsor this rally, be my guest, respectfully, and I hear what you're saying, but where is the energy in the Democratic Party? You see energy around protecting illegal populations. You see it every day. Energy around criminals, violent criminals. I mean, Democratic officials all over this country have worked very hard to let violent criminals out on the streets. Where is the lie and what is being said by Caroline Leavitt? This is where the energy is on the left.
The energy,
violent, illegal aliens, violent criminals. That's the energy. That's what you see.
The energy is behind protecting people's rights. It's behind not having citizens citizens, Americans.
What about illegal aliens being rounded up by ICE?
Many of the Democratic Party saying that.
I like that they got the black version of Marge Simpson's sister to stand up here.
Let all illegal people or criminals run free. That is not what the Democratic Party is saying.
Those are the policies. Those are your.
No, they are not.
I mean, you have prosecutors and judges all over this country that have let violent criminal after violent criminal out on the streets, and then what do they do?
Dude, thank you very, very much. Wow, that was very unexpected. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Wow. That's a nice wake you up.
They commit other violent crimes in city after city after city.
Why demonize them?
Because I think it's a legitimate political debate about what they're protesting for.
I mean, look.
It is perfectly legitimate political debate for Republicans to say, what exactly are they protesting? They are mad that Donald Trump is enforcing federal immigration law. They are mad that he is lawfully exercising the powers of the presidency. And they are fighting for policies that Republicans fundamentally believe are bad for the country.
Demonizing them. Calling them pro-Hamas is demonization.
Well,
No,
there will be some of those elements.
They are pro-Hamas.
Absolutely. So pro-Hamas is not demonization?
Oh my God.
I'm saying that
they're flying their colors, Ashley.
No,
How are we supposed to ignore the fact that in New York City on a routine basis they're flying their flags?
Here's a pro tip. When they start saying people are pro-Hamas, when they start saying people are defund the police.
They're so embarrassed by what they are. They're so embarrassed by what they very obviously are. Dude. That's the second one he sent. Thank you. Oh my God. Thank you. Wow. Was I standing like this? I'm blushing now. Y'all see the YouTube video of Trump and F-18 over No Kings? Yeah, I shared that out actually like 40 minutes ago or so. I share that out. I was covering that. So yeah, that came in between Century Bro being insanely generous. Thank you, brother. Thank you. I wanted to get into the second story. I was using Scott here to close out the segment, and he's correct in what he says. This is not something that makes them look good at the end of the day. They're embracing things that are wildly unpopular and then pretending that this is something that the public loves. But it's pretty transparent that their numbers are pretty thin. And I look at it like it's the death throes of this party. I think the Democrat Party is spiraling. And it's delicious to watch. I'm not going to kid you. It really is. It's delicious to watch. And part of that are allegations that they are engaging in potentially cheating. I don't know if they're cheating. I don't know that that's what's happening here. But where are you? No, it's not here. Come on. Uno momento. I didn't clean out my tabs here, and I shoulda. I'm paying the price now. Nope. Sometimes I exit out when I'm done with them and I share it. Sometimes I don't. And when I don't, I end up regretting it sometimes, and I'm feeling that regret now. Here it is. Or not. All right, I know I can find it pretty quick. All right, got it here. Got it. Good shot, sir. All right. I reside, at the risk of doxing myself, in New Jersey's 9th District. So this is my backyard. In 2024, I voted for Billy Prempa to be my next congressman. Sadly, he lost. And instead, we got Nellie. I'm really not sure how to pronounce her last name. I think they pronounce it's spelled P-O-U. So I'm not trying to be childish. I don't know how it's pronounced. Should we call her Pow? I can't even tell. I'm not sure if it's Pooh or it's Pow. I don't know what it is. Anyway, so Billy, who's run a couple of times, he doesn't really. And I want to be clear here about Billy Prempa. I've actually spoken with Billy Prempa. I talked about having him on my show before the last election. I don't know very much about Billy. I don't know that I actually even agree with him very much. What I know is he's not a Democrat. Sadly, that's the best we can do here in northern New Jersey. So when someone shared this with me, and I want to thank, who was it that shared it with me? Can't Limit Me from X shared this with me. I went through all 20 minutes of this. All 20 minutes of this video from Billy Prempa. Again, I don't know very much about Billy Prempa. When I saw that I don't know much about Billy Prempa, I actually thought about primarying him. And then I was like, do I really want to do that? I don't think I'd win. I don't think I'd win the primary. And I certainly don't think, I don't feel confident I'd win the general. So, for now, any thoughts of political aspirations are definitely being tabled for the foreseeable future. But this is, we lost Bill Pascrell, who had a stranglehold in my district for decades passed away shortly before the 2024 election. And we had what they called a special election. I don't know. There was all sorts of weirdness that was happening because he died after the primaries. Well, anyway, here's what ended up happening. We got this. So Billy Prempa ended up losing to this new woman who came in, Nellie Poo. That's what ended up happening. So Billy says there's some suspicious stuff going on in a building that I visited.
What you're about to hear is
And we're going to assess for you. And again, I don't know enough about Billy Prempa to say that like I'm a massive Billy Prempa fan. Or to say anything negative about him. I just feel like I don't know enough about him. But this is Billy.
a recording of a phone call between myself and Jacob Durham. He is the son of the late Democrat Councilwoman Laura Murphy. Now, some people in the area of Passaic are aware of this. You may not be aware of this, but she was in a long relationship with the Democrat chairman.
Passaic and Clifton are interlocked with each other. They're two counties in New Jersey which are interlocked with each other.
As well as the Democrat chairman of the Board of Elections in Passaic County, John Curry. Now, the NJGOP just put out a letter not too long ago about the concern of the Democrats not wanting to have cameras inside of the locations where the ballots are being stored.
See, that's kind of disconcerting. The decision by Democratic members of the Passaic County Board of Elections to block the use of security cameras in ballot storage areas and the refusal to require a sign-in/sign-out log for anyone accessing mail-in ballots is alarming. The fact that the Board of Elections chairman also happens to be the county Democratic chairman makes it even worse. In recent years, Passaic County has been home to infamous voter fraud schemes and among the slowest counties to count ballots and certify elections in the entire state. Frankly, given that the Passaic County Republican Party is justifying the suspicion about what happens outside of public view, and the NJGOP stands firmly behind their legal demands for election integrity and transparency, and I certainly wholeheartedly have always endorsed that. To make the change we need in Passaic County and in New Jersey, everyone must vote by November 4th. We're paying attention. We are vigilant. But the way we are going to win is to make it too big to rig. Chairman Glenn Paulson, New Jersey GOP. That's disconcerting. That's making me feel as if my vote doesn't matter.
And they want to prevent sign-in sheets from being there. Let me tell you why this is a big, big, big problem. When you listen to this conversation, you're going to hear Jacob say some things and walk back some of his statements. I want you to come to the conclusion as to whether you believe he is telling the truth or not.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, Jacob, what's going on, man?
No, living the dream. How about you?
Can't say I could say the same. I think I'm actually doing pretty all right. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good, man. The reason why I'm calling you, man, is like someone sent me your Instagram, and there was a picture that I saw on there that people keep shuffling around on social media. The one you posted yesterday about the box of ballots in Patterson.
Yeah.
Hey, what's that?
So this is something he posted, boxes of ballots that he just stumbled on in a building in Patterson.
What's that all about?
Just a box of ballots that I saw when I was down at the county. I just thought it was interesting. There were so many in one place. I didn't really know how it worked. I just thought it was interesting, the outcome. I'm a bit of a journalist, so I post things on the internet.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty weird myself, man. Where were these ballots located?
I I was in and out of the court so many times.
Where?
I'd have to look back, but why?
Well, because like ballots just being out in the open like that is kind of a concern, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I think
I'm assuming that's why. I'm assuming that's why you took the picture, because you probably thought it was concerning too, right?
I didn't know what it was. I took a picture because I thought it was interesting more than anything.
Interesting?
I'm not an expert on elections, I guess. So I guess, I saw boxes of ballots and I just thought it was That's interesting. I didn't know that that's how it worked or how they were counted.
Interesting.
Like, you were in the you were there when they were being counted.
I don't know. I mean, maybe they were counting them. I don't know if they counted before or after or what. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a photo I took. I mean, is there something that you're worried's going on?
Huh?
Are you worried about something?
Am I worried about something? No, there's a few people that's worried about things. I'm not worried about anything. I'm just trying to get. I'm just trying to get some clarity here.
Yeah, I mean, clarity for. I mean, in what regard? You know, I guess. Are you investigating something?
I'm not investigating. I'm a politician.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so I don't know. Is there something that I could do for you? Like, I mean.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of why I was calling for clarity, because people are coming to me and I'm like, I don't know this guy. I've never met him before. And people keep pointing at this picture.
Welcome to MG Law Raid. Thank you, MG Law. That's very kind of you.
At about 1 a.m. during my race, my opponent went up 1,100 votes. And yeah, we were behind 2,700 votes and closing in. And at exactly 1 a.m., 11,000 votes just showed up. So to see a box full of ballots just kind of sitting on your page, it's like, what the heck is going on here?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think it's interesting.
So I don't know if these are completed ballots. I mean, it's hard to tell from this picture if these are ballots that have been used. I don't know what the hell this is. I don't know if these are blank ballots. I don't know if they're completed ballots. I don't know what these ballots are. And I don't think Billy knows either. Like, I'm not faulting Billy. But that's a key question, is like, are these ballots that are executed or not executed? That's a very, very big difference. Right?
Just kind of sitting on your page. It's like, what the heck is going on here?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think it's interesting.
And the weirdest part about
there's
it.
a lot of things I could tell you about it.
Yeah.
But I don't. You know, you and I don't know each other that well.
Yeah, I know you. I know you.
You lost your election. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, they're still counting ballots. The ballots in Passaic County haven't fully been counted yet. That's why we wanted to see where exactly were these ballots. And if people are asking me, and people are sending me your page and your screenshots, it's only a matter of time before the media eventually hits you up. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why
I didn't realize it had gone so far. I mean, the real problem, I guess, is I don't really
see. I don't understand what's happening here a little bit. I'm not going to kid you. I don't understand, because his election was a year ago. So, and he posted this out on October 20th. Billy did. So I don't know when he's having this conversation. I don't know what's happening here. I'm very confused by it.
No, you know, I don't know.
It sounds like the conversation happened while the ballots were being counted last November. I'm going to ask him that. He follows me, so I think he follows. He still follow me, Billy? He does follow me. Yeah. When was this phone call? Just asked him. I asked him over here. I can't see it but
I don't really know if it means anything. You know, I don't know.
I mean, well, given kind of what I just broken down, I mean, and there's a lot of people looking into this race and looking into a lot of discrepancies. For example, the Green Party candidate had 54,000 votes in the first 3 hours. This was being reported. It was being reported as he was the front runner at about maybe 10:50, 10:45. Yeah, Ben Taylor. Yeah, him. At about maybe
that definitely never happened. That doesn't even make any sense. Like, there's like 300,000 people vote in registered voters in the entire 9th district.
10:55 or so. Next thing you know, the numbers switch over. He's down to 1,000. There were a lot of discrepancies that were happening, and seeing a box of ballots just out in the open where they should be in a secure location, and you're someone who doesn't work with the Board of Elections, yet you have that picture. I didn't know if someone sent you that picture and you posted it, or you took the picture, but now I know you took the picture. I just wanted some clarity on how you were able to access that that or get that close.
And that to me, out of everything that happens here, that's the most disconcerting thing. That some rando can just walk by and see a whole thousands of ballots. That's the most disconcerting part of this entire thing.
So those ballots.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are wondering that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I just, was in the right place at the right time, and I came across it. I certainly there's so much to be said. They're still counting ballots. That's very interesting, and that things are changing. I don't know about the specifics about secure areas or things like that, but I would say that there's. I mean, I have as many questions as I have answers. A lot more questions than answers for you. But I think there's certainly a problem with.
It definitely sounds defensive.
If that's what you're asking me.
Yeah, I think we all have. I think everybody can kind of see that, which kind of brings us to my next question that a few people have been telling me. Man, you're related to John Curry?
I don't know about related. Him and my mom had a relationship.
The councilwoman.
Yeah, but me and him aren't related in that sense.
Gotcha. You guys are cool, all right?
I mean, I don't know. I don't really do politics,
No, I mean like cool. Like I meant like in a personal level. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, I don't really know him all too well.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know what that has to do with ballots.
No, I'm just asking for clarity, man, because I don't know. A lot of people are asking me a lot of questions, and I just thought it was important to ask you.
What kind of questions are you? I mean, what kind of answers are you looking for? I guess. Let's go to that.
Where were those boxes located? Where were those boxes of ballots located specifically?
I mean, they were definitely in the county building.
Which county building?
Oh man, the one where the 401 Grand Street, the big black building.
Okay, let me tell you about this building. I have been in this building once. This building, which as you can see, very big building, is where I had to go when I went to visit Nellie Poe. Poe. I think it's actually pronounced Pooh. But when I had to visit Nellie, and she was actually doing something nice for me. This was my councilwoman who was doing something nice for me in that I asked her to secure me tickets to Trump's inauguration. Because in order to get tickets to inauguration, you have to go to your local councilman or councilwoman. So I reached out to Nellie Poe and I said, hey, I'd like to go to the inauguration. Can you get me tickets? And she said, sure. And they got me tickets. And they said, you have to pick them up for $1 grand. Patterson. I think it's in Patterson. I think that's where it was. And I went to this building. It's a very memorable building. It looks very different from any other building I've ever set foot in. So, yeah. And her office is in this building. At least it was in, November, December of 2024. That's what made me think like, wait, she's got an office in this building where they've got all these ballots? What the heck? What is happening here? So that made me start to get like that's where he took this picture, that he had access to all these ballots. And are these completed ballots or these empty ballots? I don't know. He doesn't ask that question. We're not going to get that question. If that's the question you were hoping we're going to get to here, I'm going to cut to the chase and tell you we're not going to get an answer. We're not going to get that question asked or answered. So I don't know the answer to that. And I don't know if the person on the phone who took the picture even knows himself whether or not they were completed ballots or blank ballots. But I did start digging onto Grok to ask, is this a government-owned building? And they said it is. This is a government building. So I don't know if she got this after they declared the election for her. I don't know if that's when she got her office there. or I don't know what the heck is going on here. But they say, when I asked Grok about this, Grok said this is a state administrative building. It's an administrative building. That's what they called it. And they said that there would be some election work that would be done there. So it's possible for ballots to be printed there. Even if if that is what's happening there, or collected there for further distribution to the public, you wouldn't think they'd be collated there. It's not where the Board of Elections is.
Where were where were they located when you walked in the building?
I don't know. Some of them were leaving. You know, some of them were coming. They just seemed to be strewn about. You know, I remember them being all over. It seemed very odd.
Like, in which room was this?
Oh, I don't know. What specific. I was trying to get a veteran's ID card or something, and it just happened to be co-located with the voting stuff. And I noticed that there were just a bunch of ballots around. I thought it was interesting.
They were just like sitting on like in boxes on the floor like that.
Not when I was there. No, not KPT. But I went there in, January, I think 2025. I think January of this year. It was close to the inauguration that I went there.
Like
out in the open? The floor, shelves. It was a big kind of a mess.
I still can't tell. I can't tell if these are completed ballots or not. I have no idea. I don't know.
I thought it was most interesting that they were just there. It seems like a ballot should be a secure thing.
Right.
That's true.
So yeah, but I don't mind.
So let me ask you something, man. Why haven't you reported? Have you reported this?
I don't know.
The left has successfully kept America safe from kings, just like the Great Wall of China has kept all Mexicans out of their country. I know we didn't hit the goal, but one day we'll have to see. That's pretty funny drop. I could have. One day we'll have to see if Joe's take on evolution is any better than his take on relativity. Ooh, I guess that's true. Freaking out. He doesn't know if it's worth money or. Yeah, Popo gonna get the or the Popo.
I guess it's.
By the way, I don't know what that picture is. Johnny Reb put in locals. I don't know what this is. What? Long time no see. There's a picture here. I don't know what. This is what he posted for me there. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. This is long time no see. Thanks. I missed you too. That doesn't look anything like me.
I don't know if I saw anything that's reportable.
I mean, you did. You saw a bunch of ballots unsecured, unattended, out and about, strewn in the public.
I mean, I'm tracking what you were saying, but I can't speak to the specific laws or the ballot rules for New Jersey or the election.
I don't know if that's.
For all I know, that could have been protocol.
Protocol, just throw them all around the building.
I can assure you, it's not protocol to leave ballots out in the open.
He's right about that.
Yeah, I mean, that seems interesting to me too.
Interesting.
Say that, and I guess maybe it'll come around and someone will have some questions for me about it. I mean, I don't know. Do you have the power to investigate it? Is that what you're telling me?
I'm not a congressman, bro. I don't have any authority. I'm a citizen just like you.
Yeah. So I mean, all I can do is post on my Facebook like I do. I mean, I don't. I can't call the police and say, hey, look at this picture I took of these ballots in this place.
Well, no, it's not the police you would call. You would tell the Board of Elections.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't, I've been focusing on my life.
I think that's something. I think that's something you might want to report.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll.
Like, I think that I mean, and just to kind of like play it safe, like in the event that something does go wrong, and people start pointing fingers, they're going to point them at you.
I agree. I mean, I'm with you, and but again, I hadn't given it another thought after I posted it.
No, I get it. I'm just bringing it to your attention that's something that I would do if you saw something and it looked out of place, and there's ballots just laying all over the place. That's something that you should report, man.
Okay. I will take that under advisement. You know, but I don't know. You know, I can start that. You know, and you know, see how that process looks. But I've really had a bad taste in my mouth for Passaic County and its government officials.
Why do you hate? What's your beef with Passaic County so much? Because this is the second time you mentioned it. That's why I'm just asking.
I mean, I think it's the government in general, but you know, it seems. I don't know. You know, I was raised there, and it was a great. It wasn't a great place, but it was better, and it's getting worse. And it just seems difficult to get any kind of information. You know, I wasn't able to get like a voter ID paperwork, or like a voter registration card, or like a driver's license, or like you know, any information about like anything. You know, it's just a very unhelpful place. You know, so I just figured let bygones be bygones and move on. I don't really have a beef with them. You know, it's just not where I would choose to raise a family.
I hear you. You don't live in Passaic anymore?
No.
Where you now? You in Bergen?
I mean, I live in Washington.
Washington, like DC?
Yeah, I mean, I live in Washington State. You know, I have several places I live. I mean, I work all over. I'm a cybersecurity consultant. I work for the government.
Cool, man. You work for cool. Cybersecurity. I'm in IT myself as well. If I recall, you mentioned you were getting a veteran's ID. You're a veteran as well?
Yeah. I didn't know you were a veteran.
Thank you for your service. Yeah, I'm a United States Air Force.
Well, thank you for your service.
Anytime, man. What branch were you in?
Yeah. Where was it? I was in the Army.
You was in the Army? Excellent. Yeah. And cybersecurity you were doing?
No, I was a forward observer.
Gotcha.
But then when I got out, I got my degree and stuff. Yeah, I was at Fort Lewis, JBLM, Air Force Co-base. But yeah, I mean, with that said, you know, I mean, it is important to me. I see what you're saying. I don't really have a beef with Passaic County. It's hard, sure, as you know, as a brown-skinned veteran, you know, if you start saying you have a beef with someone, or you start, you know, doing anything that can be construed as, you know, aggressive, it can be used against you, you know. So I found that in Passaic County, it's just easier to just walk away.
Even with your mother being a councilwoman, even with your mother being a councilwoman, like they turned it against you. I mean, she was with the chairman.
Yeah, I mean, I there's a lot there. There's a lot there, and I didn't. The outcome. I mean, it's when you get emotionally invested in these things. You know, I watched politics and trying to undo wrongs. You know, suck all the life out of my mother. So
undo wrongs.
It's hard for me to, you know, the societal wrongs. You know, like helping homeless people. You know, trying to enact change, like getting pickleball courts installed somewhere. You know, those are the things that drained her at the end of her life. You know, instead of enjoying it. So politics, you know, it's just not something I try to stay out of.
I see. All right. Well,
but I mean, if you've heard of it, I mean, other people have heard of it. I'm sure it's going to get back around to me. So I can tell you that there's lots of interesting stuff that I've got pictures on.
Really?
Yeah. I'll send you what I have, and hold on.
Here's pictures of me
Let me go get my
and the Grand Canyon.
Gosh. All right. So, I mean, for me,
I'm gonna speed this up a little bit because he's boring me now.
I think the two.
And I'll give my thoughts
I
at
can
the end.
articulate to you that you would be concerned about. I'll send you a picture of is I mean, most of my time was spent in Clifton.
Mm-hmm.
When I was hanging out waiting for you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, I'm just gonna go back so I can send you these pictures and talk to you.
You're sending them through text?
Yeah, I'll send them to you on Instagram if that's fine.
Okay, that works.
So, God, I might have to get my other camera. These first ones were at like an eyeglass place. I just happened to be at an eyeglass place, and some guy pulls up in a van and starts bringing in UPS, like white UPS. You know the white UPS boxes that are government property. You can't get those.
Yeah, like the tote boxes, yeah.
Yeah, so he's bringing them in here and he's just dumping them in this empty building from a different town. I thought that was weird.
Wow, that's a lot to unpack.
Pause and read it. Access ballots that were supposed to be secured by the county. He has not worked with the Passaic Board of Elections. 2, conveniently knew the location where ballots were allegedly being harvested in Clifton and be there at the perfect time to document it unless he had prior knowledge of the operation. And 3, claims to have no political expertise, yet his mom, an elected official, dated the Passaic Democrat chairman that doesn't want ballots secured and under surveillance. Okay.
Right there.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that it's, impacting your election, I have to take everything you say at face value, and if I view that in the most beneficial light, obviously there's it's possible, but there's an injustice. I don't know enough to say so.
The most concerning part, sorry to cut you off, the most concerning part is the eyewear place. Now the guy that was coming in, are you sure you saw ballots in there?
I don't know specifically what he was bringing in. I know that he was carrying stuff that looked very much like the ballots I saw in a box, and several boxes inside his van looked like bundles of mail, but he wasn't a mailman. And that was the most important thing to me. I know that the mail is a very serious. The mail carriers carry themselves in a very specific way. It has to be handled a certain way.
Right.
But I can't speak to the specifics of it. I didn't do enough investigation into it because it wasn't a problem then. But I don't know. I think that is interesting.
And Billy's saying this guy's being evasive, but now he's offering more information than what Billy knew about things he saw. So I disagree with Billy on this.
I think that I could say so much about what I think is interesting, but yeah, I don't know. I couldn't say for sure there's something going on, but if I was running as a candidate, I would be concerned either way, whether I won or lose.
Yeah, that's the reason why I kind of wanted to see if you knew anything that was suspicious, or if you saw anything that was suspicious.
People know me. People know it's last election. I was running numbers. I know how the election process works. How it's fucking backwards. So I'm not. Like I said, I didn't break any laws. I'm not worried about telling the truth.
Sure. You were. What do you mean you were running the numbers?
So I mean, last election cycle, spending time working with my mom, going to the different schools and getting the tally totals and bringing them back to be counted and added up.
Gotcha. I see what you mean.
Again, it's politics are ugly and nasty, and I was hoping.
But all right, Jacob.
All right, well, it's super late there.
Yeah, it's getting pretty late. I really appreciate it though, brother. I really do.
Yeah, no worries, man. Like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm working with Chris D'Amato, who just ran for council in Clifton and won my mom's seat. And I'll probably run again in 3 years. If he doesn't, though, I was considering running. At the very least, I want to be more involved in Passaic County and stopping this stupid shit. It should be, it should be transparent. There's a way that things can be balanced and fair and transparent. So yeah, like I said, if you need anything or if you need any political, I still got a few favors in the tank. So we know how your election goes. Who are you running against?
Nellie Poe. It was Bill Pascrell, but he passed away.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. I see. That's interesting.
Why is that interesting?
I liked Bill Pascrell. I knew Bill Pascrell. Bill Pascrell knew my mother. I had never met Nellie Poe. But anyway.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Jacob.
Yeah, no problem, Billy. Thank you for your service again.
You too, man. Thank you very much.
Enjoy what's left of your day.
Yes, sir. Take care.
All right. You too, man. Thanks.
So there you go. The NGA GOP is correct. If you can get unauthorized access, anyone can. Our ballots must be surveilled, and we need logs to who has access to the ballots in order to secure our elections. Something is up in Passaic and it needs to be investigated. So I agree with this. I agree with this final thought. This is weird. It's weird that anyone from the public could just access these ballots. I am curious whether these ballots were completed or not. I don't know if the guy he called Jacob has any knowledge, if he looked at the ballots or not. I don't know. But I'll tell you, to me, when I first saw this, I was like, does my vote count for anything? Am I really wasting my time and my wife's time, my kids' time when we go vote? Or is it all just like a scam? And this is disconcerting. It's very disconcerting. But that doesn't mean that there's ballot harvesting. There could be an explanation. And again, when I asked Grok about this, Grok was convinced. In fact, I'll redo it again. I'll redo it again so you can see. So I don't get anything wrong here. In the vid, they discuss ballots found at 401 grant. There legitimate reasons why boxes of ballots would be at that. Okay, let's just start with it. It should be there in the first place. Do some recon. You just want me to be distracted from our next time I face you. I'm seeing that people are not liking Grok. Okay, so yes, there are entirely legitimate reasons for box ballots to be at 401 Grand in Patterson, Jersey. This address is Passaic County Administration Building, which houses the county's official election officers' responsibility for handling vote by mail, including their receipt processing storage. In the video, Jacob Durham describes seeing unsecured boxes strewn about in the building. While ballots must be handled securely under the New Jersey election law, their presence at this central county facility during processing periods such as post-election canvassing or vote by mail intake is standard and expected. The video's broader concerns focus on potential irregularities, unsecured access, and separate incident in Clifton, but the location itself is the proper hub. Is there any legitimate reason why those boxes would be accessible to the public? I can't imagine they're going to be able to come up with anything like that. Refine your search. Come on, Grok. This is the fast beta. You can just say no. No legitimate reason for boxes of mail-in ballots to be accessible to the public in the manner described in the video. Yeah, New Jersey election rules explicitly require all mail-in provisional ballots to be stored in sealed, monitored facilities with restricted access to maintain chain of custody and prevent tampering. Durham's account of seeing ballots on the floor and on shelves in plain view while in a public area suggests a potential violation of these protocols, which would compromise election integrity and trigger an investigation by the Division of Elections or Attorney General if confirmed. Passaic County's history of documented irregularities, including 2020 ballot fraud case, has amplified calls for enhanced oversight, such as federal monitors, but no such public accessibility is permitted under any standard procedure. Great. Great. So, no. Basically, I'm going to have to dig further. This sounds like work. But, got to make sure my vote's counting. I'm going to see what I can dig up. I'm going to see what I can dig up on this. I'm going to try and reach out to Billy, see when this phone call happens, because this phone call sounded like it happened nearly a year ago. So I don't know what's going on with that, why he's posting about that now. And yeah, I don't know if it's about harvesting setup. It's sloppiness. I like to try and delude myself into thinking that my vote counts. I prefer that delusion. And delusion makes me happier. Cognitive dissonance is going to push me in that direction. I don't know that there's anything shady happening. It could simply be sloppiness. But I will try and look into this. I will try and look into it further. That's what I got for you fine folks tonight. We did not hit our goal. While Century Bro was very, very generous. This is, I'll tell you this. Out of recognition for what Century Bro did. Tomorrow I'm going to redo this goal tomorrow. Okay. I'm going to redo the goal tomorrow, and I'll make it something that's much easier to reach. Okay. So this way we'll sort of knock it out tomorrow. I need to have a goal. So in order to try and get to that evolution thing, which I'd like to get to, I'd like to share it with you and share my thoughts about what I discovered here. So I'll try to make for an easier goal tomorrow, just to ensure that we actually get there. If God willing, I should remember. So that's my plan. I'm sticking to it. I thank you all for joining me. God willing, I'll be back here tomorrow night. Everything is sloppy. I know. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's depressing when I think about it. So I try not to think about how bad it is. Anyway. Anyway, I am curious about whether they thought that I'm going to check on that poll right now. Let's just do a quick thing before whether or not they thought it was. I'm very curious what they thought. Let me see that post. How that post is doing. 37. That's what I told you in the beginning of this show, if you were here in the beginning, that in my poll tonight. So I said, because when I said sus ballots are in my backyard. So what I put up there was Joe's title saying sus ballots in my backyard means behind the garage where Joe buries his secret Jew money, somewhere within 5 miles of Joe's house that he once visited. Not a physical location, it's a metaphor or an allegory, or what the hell's an allegory and who is Joe? And the 9% of you got it right. So it was someplace within 5 miles of Joe's house that I once visited. And I have to admit that when I went there, it was Nellie Poe was being very nice to me and giving me inauguration tickets. She didn't have to do that, and she did. So I have to give credit where credit is due. I really wanted those tickets. Tickets ended up being useless because cold weather. They ended up having concerns about people's health being at risk. They ended up changing the location to being a small little place that no one but his nearest and dearest can get into. I do not yet qualify as Donald Trump's nearest and dearest, so I didn't get in. And instead, I got to meet Allegan News and the lectern guy and Diligent Denizen and lots of other cool folks, but didn't get to see the inauguration live, but not because of anything that Ellie Poe didn't do for me. She tried helping me. So gotta give her credit for that. Anyway, No King's Role is playing for 250th. No Kings is role playing for 250th anniversary. Maybe. He's another journalist undiagnosed, I'm sure. All right. That's my show. I'm sticking to it. You know what they say, lab meat is definitely not meant for you. It's for they, them. So don't even think about it. Don't go there. You don't want to be there. You don't want to be anywhere near it. And do not eat the bugs. Don't do it. Don't touch it. Good night and Godspeed.